Yeah, so what we have done in the last 2 to 3 years, actually the business started a few years back when the whole defense and aviation sector for private sector got opened. But in the last 2-3 years, we've seen a lot of traction. We've made 5 verticals. One of our verticals, we're going to be concentrating on arms, which is from small arms to going up to howitzers. So in the 5 verticals, our first vertical is our small arms business, where we've done a joint venture with IWI. The plant is being set up. It should be ready by end of this year, and we should get into component manufacturing first for exports and then for the domestic market as the license comes in. The second is our air defense guns. We are finalized in one of the ZU upgrades. We should see that to be closed very soon. So that business will start production, and that'll be one of the first for the Army in the gun sector. Then howitzers, we have fielded a product which is under trials right now. Gone through summer trials. We're going to be going through winter trials soon. Then Homeland Securities, we've gone into a very niche area, which will be the only Indian company to be actually manufacturing a product which is the full body truck scanner and putting up for that. So we have working on that, and we already L1 in one of the programs there. And then component business, where we are manufacturing for Sukhoi, and we're manufacturing for helicopters, and we're manufacturing for gun carriage factory and DRDO. So the whole component business. So we've created those verticals, and luckily either we are in the final stages of closing an order or we are already in production there.
In terms of order book, if you could throw some light, how does it look like? And also in terms of investments, do we see more plant setups being done going forward? Any particular geography that you're looking at?
So right now we have a very large manufacturing, defense manufacturing in Malanpur near Gwalior. We are going to be building more. It's a 65-acre plot, so we'll be growing that plot itself. So we are building up a facility inside the same large consolidated defense manufacturing. So we are building for small arms, we are building for a fabrication unit, we are going to be setting up another plant for assembly and test for our programs. So 3 more plants coming up inside there. And the whole, by end of this year, we should see a large order book. So now quite a few things are in the final stages. So the moment it's closed, I'm sure we'll be in a better position to answer that.
But what would the rough size of order book that you're looking at, say in FY17, if I could ask you, and at the same time the investment that you're planning to government?
So we've already invested approximately 200 crores in the plant, and we are putting in another 50 to 60 crores right now, and that will only grow as the order book grows. So like we said, the order book is growing now. We are in the final stages of signing contracts. So till it's signed, it's limited, but limited knowledge. But moment it's signed, then obviously it'll be available. But we'll be one of the first to get orders in the defense sector.
And if I could ask you from your market pie size, how it's going to be? Would it be a more of domestic focus, exports? What is the kind of pie that you're looking at from the overall market perspective?
So we are looking at, we've created our niche. We are focusing. We are not trying to do everything which the defense has to offer. We are focusing on arms. So like I said, small arms to howitzers. So that's our focus area. We are going to be looking at both domestic market as well as exports. So like small arms, we're manufacturing components with our joint venture, and it's going to go back to Israel. Similarly, we are looking at exports, but obviously the domestic market itself is too large. So our main focus area is our domestic market, and component business is going to be for exports.
And lastly, if I could ask you, Mr. Wadhawan, in terms of would JVs be the theme going forward as you enter different verticals of defense? And also largely, do you think finally government has got its act together when it comes to defense? FDI has been opened up, things have been ironed out. Finally, do we see things falling in place? Because even after the big 2 years of reforms in defense, things are yet to take off.
I won't say it's yet to take off. I think it is taking off. It's just that the cycle is too long. So you don't see this impact which the government is doing fundamental changes immediately. The issue is in other sectors you may find it in a year or two. In this it takes 5 to 6 years. But there have been fundamental changes which have been done, starting from FDI. I think the 70-80% of the FDI which has come is for Punj Lloyd, for the whole which has come in the last 2 years. There's more FDI of ours which is coming in the next few months. Yes, you will see a lot more FDI coming in. There'll be more partnerships. May not be FDI, but there'll be a lot of partnerships because technology comes from outside. So we are working on some form of technology, but obviously we have partners which technology available outside. There will be more partnerships which will take place.
What will the kind of say amount of budget spend that you see fructifying in this financial year when it comes to the order books from the government side, of course?
See, government, and that's a $1 million question, and that's what we are saying. The orders should come much faster, and the cycles are too long, and that's what government is been working on. We are very hopeful that in the next 6 months, you'll see a lot of orders coming in for the private sector. We'll be one of the beneficiaries, but there'll be many more people who will get orders, but there will be orders because we've been working on it for the last 5 years. You'll see the orders coming.
Any ballpark figures? Back up
I would not like to give out a number right now, but I would say it will be large enough for not just, so say if I get an order or L&T gets an order or any of my competition gets an order, I get a chunk of manufacturing for it because there are very few people who have the capability and technology to make those products. So if the whole industry benefits, so I'm sure there will be orders in the next 6 months and you'll see the manufacturing grow.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.